We're on P. P's. To mind one P's and Q's, to be attentive to the main chance. PPC, an inscription on the visiting cards of our modern fine gentlemen, signifying that they have called poor, prendrach, congi, i.e. to take leave. This has of late been ridiculed by cards inscribed D-I-O, i.e. damn, I'm off. Packet, a false report. Pack thread, to talk pack thread, to use in decent language, well wrapped up. Pad, the highway or a robber variant. Also a bed, footpads, foot robbers, to go out upon the pad, to go out in order to commit a robbery. Pad borrowers, horse stealers, to pad the hoof. C, to beat the hoof. Paddington, fair day. An execution day. Tyburn, being in the parish or neighbourhood of Paddington, to dance the Paddington frisk, to be hanged. Paddy, the general name for an Irishman, being the abbreviation of Patrick, the name of the tutelar saint of that island. Painter, I'll cut your painter for you, I'll send you off. The painter being the rough that holds the boat fast to the ship, sea term. Pair of wings, oars, cunt, to palaver, to flatter, originally an African word for a treaty, talk or conference. Palliate, those whose fathers were clapperdogans or beggars born, and who themselves follow the trade. The female sort beg with a number of children, borrowing them, if they have not a sufficient number of their own, and making them cry by pinching in order to excite charity. The males make artificial sores on different parts of their bodies to move compassion. Pal, a companion, one who generally accompanies another or who commit to robberies together. Pam, the knave of clubs. Panam, bread. Pania, man, a servant belonging to the temple in Gray's Inn, whose office is to announce the dinner. This in the temple is done by blowing a horn, and in Gray's Inn proclaiming the word manger, 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 in each of the 3 courts. Panny, a house, to do a panny, to rob a house. See the sessions papers. Probably panny originally meant the butler's pantry, where the knives and forks, spoons, etc. are usually kept. The pigs frisked my panny and nailed my screws. The officers searched my house and seized my picklock keys. Cunt. Panther, a hart. That animal is, in the Psalms, said to pant after the fresh water brooks. Also the human heart, which frequently pants in time of danger. Cunt. Pantile shop, a Presbyterian or other dissenting meeting house, frequently covered with pantiles, called also a cockpit. Pantler, a butler. Pap, bread sauce, also the food of infants. His mouth is full of pap, he is still a baby. Paper skull, a thin-skulled foolish fellow. Papler, milk pottage. Parel, white of eggs, bay salt, milk, and pump water beat together and poured into a vessel of wine, to prevent its fretting. Parenthesis, to put a man's nose into a parenthesis, to pull it. The fingers and thumb answering the hooks or crochets. A wooden parenthesis, the pillory, an iron parenthesis, a prison. Pairings, the chippings of money. Cunt. Parish bull, a parson. Parish, his stockings are of 2 parishes, i.e. they are not fellows. Parish soldier, a jeering name for a militiaman, from substitutes being frequently hired by the parish, from which one of its inhabitants is drawn. Park paling, teeth. Parson, a guidepost, hand or finger post by the road side for directing travellers, compared to a parson, because like him it sets people in the right way. See guidepost. He that would have luck in horse flesh must kiss a parson's wife. Parson's journeyman, a curate. Parson Palmer, a jocular name or term of reproach to one who stops the circulation of the glass by preaching over his liquor, as it is said was done by a parson of that name, whose cellar was under his pulpit. Partial, inclining more to one side than the other. Crooked, all o' one hue. Pass bank, the place for playing at passage, cut into the ground almost like a cockpit. Also the stock or fund. Passage, a camp game, with 3 dice, doublets, making up 10 or more, to pass or win, or any other chances lose. Pat, apposite or to the purpose. Pate, the head, carroty pated, red haired. Patrico or Patico, the 15th rank of the canting tribe. Tribe, strolling priests that marry people under a hedge, without gospel or common prayer book. The couple standing on each side of a dead beast are bid to live together till death them does part, so shaking hands the wedding is ended, also any minister or parson. Pattering, the maundering or pert replies of servants. Also talk or palaver in order to amuse one intended to be cheated. Pattering of prayers, the confused sound of a number of persons praying together. To patter, to talk, to patter flash, to speak flash, or the language used by thieves. How the blowen lushes Jackie and patters flash. How the wench drinks gin, and talks flash. Purveyor's workshop, the street, to palm, to conceal in the hand, to palm a die, to hide a die in the palm of the hand. He palms, he cheats, don't pretend to palm that upon me. Paunch, the belly. Some think paunch was the original name for that factitious prince of puppets now called Mr. Punch, and he is always represented with a very prominent belly, though the common opinion is that both the name and character were taken from a celebrated Italian comedian called Policinello. Paw, a hand or foot. Look at his dirty paws. Forepaw, the hand, his hind paw. The foot, to paw, to touch, or handle clumsily. Paw tricks, naughty tricks, an expression used by nurses, etc., to children. To pay, to smear over, to pay the bottom of a ship or boat, to smear it over with pitch, the devil to pay, and no pitch, hot already. See term, also to beat, as I will pay you, as Paul paid the Ephesians, over the face and eyes, and all your, what the fuck that says, in jaws. To pay away, to fight manfully, also to eat voraciously. To pay through the nose, to pay an extravagant price. Extravagant. To peach, to impeach, called, also to blow the gap, squeak or turn stag. Peak, any kind of lace. Peal, to ring a peal in a man's ear. To scold at him, his wife rang him such a peal. Pear making, taking bounties from several regiments and immediately deserting the cove, was fined in the steel for pear making. The fellow was imprisoned in the House of Correction for taking bounties from different regiments, peccavi, to cry peccavi, to acknowledge oneself in an error, to own a fault, from the Latin peccavi, I have sinned. Peck, victuals, peck and booze, victuals and drink. Peckish, hungry. Peculiar, a mistress. Ped, a basket cunt. Peddler's French, the cunt language. Peddler's pony, a walking stick. To peel, to strip. Allusion to the taking of the coat or rind of an orange or apple. Peeper, a spying glass, also a looking glass. Track up the dancers and pike with the peeper. Whip up upstairs and run off with the looking glass. Cunt. Peepers, eyes, single peepers, a one-eyed man. Peeping Tom, a nickname for a curious, prying fellow derived from an old legendary tale told of a tailor of Coventry who, when Godiva, Countess of Chester rode at noon quite naked through that town in order to procure certain immunities for the inhabitants, notwithstanding the rest of the people shut up their houses. Sly peeped out of his window, for which he was miraculously struck blind. His figure, peeping out of a window, is still kept up in remembrance of the transaction. Peepee. Drowsy. To peer, to look about, to be circumspect. Peery. Inquisitive, suspicious, the curls peery. That fellow suspect something. There's a peery. 'Tis snitch, we are observed. There's nothing to be done. Peg, old peg, poor hard Suffolk or Yorkshire cheese. A peg is also a blow with a straight arm. A term used by the professors of gymnastic arts. A peg in the daylight, the victualling office, or the haltering place. A blow in the eye, stomach, or under the ear. Peg trantums, gone to peg trantums, dead. Pego, the penis of man or beast. Pell-mell, tumultuously, helter-skelter, jumbled together. Pelt, a heat, chaff, or passion, as what a pelt he was in. Pelt is also the skin of several beasts. Penance bored, the pillory, pennywise and pound foolish, saving in small matters and extravagant in great. Pennyworth, an equivalent, a good pennyworth, cheap bargain. Penthouse nab, a broad-brimmed hat, peppered, infected with the venereal disease. Peppery, warm, passionate. Perkin, water cider. Periwinkle, a wig. Persuaders, spurs. The kiddie clapped his persuaders to his prad, but the traps boned him. The highwayman spurred his horse hard, but the officers seized him. Pet, in a passion or myth.